Hello and welcome to Doing Everything to Avoid the Hereafter. Yes, that is an acronym for death. So let's talk about it so we become a little more comfortable with the inevitable. I'm your host, Jenny Remack. Now let's go make some ripples, you and I.
Mere grains of sand that scattered across the space of time. Ripples on the water, ripples on the water.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. We have a very special guest today. Karla is a teacher and facilitator of Toltec wisdom. She guides people to see clearly, releasing limiting beliefs, and create a life rooted in truth and love. Her work brings the teachings of Don Miguel Ruiz, including the Four Agreements, into the way that feels modern, practical, and easy to apply, with a focus on awareness, self-trust, and authentic expression. Please help me give a warm welcome to the stage, Karla Ruiz. Woo!
Hi, everyone.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being on the show, Karla. This is so exciting for me. It's like
Yeah,
dream come
thank you
true
for
kind of
having
thing.
me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I met Karla, gosh, I think we started the apprenticeship back in 2021, maybe August of 2021 is when I started. And that's when I met you virtually. And then in person, I think I met you, it might have been the first time in Teo, 2022 to 2023, I think it was, New Year's celebration. So it's super cool to know you, to learn from you. You've been a huge mentor of mine, and I'm so excited to have you. So thanks again for being here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, it's been a while. 2021, I want to say, is the first year that we started the program. So you were one of the first students that got to experience the program. And over the years, we've had many students join, but I know that you've been coming back, right, year after year, and it's beautiful to see how you've grown and you've experienced not just the program, but different teachings in different ways, you know, and going to Teotihuacan or going to the other, like Joshua Tree, and going to other events and other experiences as well. So yeah, we're super grateful and honored to see you explore and bloom.
Thank you so much. That's so kind. I felt that. I really love that. Yeah, being an apprentice, I mean, it's amazing to walk this journey, right? Because it's been like, there's so many things that are different about me than how I was in 2021, even how I was back in like just 2025 to now, you know, being able to really look at how I've used the agreements and really taken action and applied them in my life. So I want to dive in. Are you ready to dive in?
Of course.
Okay. So speaking of the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, he's your uncle. And what was it, or was there a situation or maybe like a point where you were like, I want to start studying these teachings. Like I want to start bringing the messages out into the world.
I want to say it was both by chance and intentional. I started working with Don Miguel by chance. He invited me to work with them. The Fifth Agreement, the book, had just come out. I want to say it was 2008. So it was a while back, maybe 15, 16 years ago. It had just come out and they were starting to tour to promote the book. Back then I had just I came back from studying. I had finished my master's degree and it was the recession. It was 2008. So there was no work, you know, it was like a big economic, like everything stopped. And so I wasn't working and I had just gotten my green card also. I was born in Mexico and I had just gotten my green card to work here in the US. And he was like, you know, we need someone to help us come with us and like help us organize events and interviews. And he's like, you speak English, you've traveled, you're not working right now. Do you want to come with us and help us? And I was like, because I studied design at the time. Like that was my background. And this is the Four Agreements, spirituality, books. It was a completely different world. I hadn't even read the Four Agreements back then because I was 20 at the time. I think the book came out when I was in high school. And back then I was like, yeah, it's my uncle. My uncle wrote a book. It got very popular, but it wasn't really, I was interested more in art and design. And I was in a completely different world back then. Yeah. So when he said that, I was like, well, I'm not working. I really want to do something. I'm just like at home doing nothing. So I might as well go and see what it's about. Mm-hmm. So I remember I told myself, I'm going to give myself 3 months to see if I like it and to just find out what they do and if it's something that I enjoy. And fast forward almost 16 years and I'm still here, and it completely changed my life and shifted the way I see the world and the way I relate to myself and, the people that I love and my relationships and everything. So that's one part, right? So that was the chance part. And then the intentional part is that I really saw how not just the book, but the intention, right? The power it has on when you truly live by the agreements and by these. It truly is a lifestyle in a way. And when you truly follow, I don't want to say like just blindly follow, but when you align yourself with who you truly are, and then everything sort of falls into place. Mm-hmm. And then really magical things start to happen. And that's the beauty of it, because then you start to see everything as truly as with love and with beauty and magical, no? And it's not that you don't see reality as it is, but you kind of choose. It gives you back that power of choosing what to do with what is presented, and I think that's a great way to live your life.
It really is. Thank you so much for sharing that. I had no idea about that you were studying design and doing that, at the time. And then, your Miguel comes along, your uncle comes along, and he's like, hey, why don't you just, come and work with us? And, that was the chance part, and you took the chance, and that was, you were going to give it 3 months, and then you're, 15, 16 years later, you're in this, you're still in it. and you got to read the book, you got to experience the book, and not only have that, but you got to experience how it like influences your life and the life of others. Just like you were talking at the beginning, being able to see the changes, that people make, the transformations, and the intention of having these 4 agreements in your life. I see them as guideposts. I see them as everyday pillars in my experience. And so when I'm in the 4 agreements, like I feel like my life is easy. And it's not like I'm, like you said, it's not like you're not living in reality, but there's a choice point and there's this intention that you have to choose what it is you're going to do, how you're going to see things. And I think the viewpoint and the perception is really big too, to helping kind of make that switch, Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of it. No, it brings you back it gives you back that. I'm looking down because I have the book here. That's why I keep looking down. I keep seeing the cover. Yeah, I have it here. That's why I keep looking down. But yeah, it gives you back sort of that power, and it's really, like I said just now, no, it's having that choice that we forget that we have. Sometimes we get blinded by what we have in front, and we forget that there are so many opportunities and so many things out there. And when we break all those little agreements that we have, we're like, oh yeah, there's so many other things out there that we don't see because we are stuck in what we have like right in front of us.
Right. And so I love that you said that, because it really gives us, the agreements give us this opportunity to branch out, to not necessarily see like this like narrow perspective, to actually see, oh, there's all these possibilities, there's all these different opportunities for us to, because I think about design. You said you were studying design. You've designed some of the posters, right? Like of the 4 agreements. And so you've been able to use that creative edge, and that lens that you have, and like be able to bring that into your current work. And so I'm curious too, like, how do you kind of merge the two, like with design and 4 agreements? Like, have you been able to do other things, like tap into that?
Yeah, I mean, the design part, I wouldn't call myself a designer now,
Okay.
because it's not what my main focus is. But I still do it. Like, I enjoy just art in general, and art is everything. And I enjoy beauty. It's like I go out and I see beauty like really everywhere. But sort of in the work, some like on social media, and some of it I do part of it, and maybe some of the like the posters or the flyers or part of it I still apply it, but I wouldn't. It helps me. I mean, it always helps anyone. It's just some visual education, I would say. That it always helps, but it's sort of this just something that I always love. And living here in Los Angeles, we're lucky because we have tons of museums and galleries and stuff, places that we can go and just eye candy everywhere, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I love that. Being able to see the beauty, being able to go out in nature, being able to go to the museums, being able to really, and you said we, because I know you have, Aaron's your husband, you have a son, and you guys are a very creative family. Your son created a t-shirt that I remember Elaine was wearing the other day, and I was like, that is so cool. And Aaron, he's an artist as well. He's been creating and a mentor and teacher as well. And so I'm curious to know, kind of like, because you and Aaron, you're business partners and you're also married. And so what helps you guys continue to grow together? Like, or how do you navigate maybe difficulties that come up, in the family, or how do you work through that? Like, knowing that you have these agreements and these teachings.
I think first of all, I think it's a personality thing. I think both of us are very easygoing, and that helps a lot. And I think both of us are also very respectful. I think respect is the most important thing in any type of relationship, not just romantic, but in any type of relationship. If you need to be able to listen to what the other person has to say without trying to impose or to be right, and to understand what the other person is trying to say without trying to be right. And there are times when you just have to step back and listen, right? Listen to where the other person is coming from without trying to jump in and trying to defend what your perception was or where you were trying to come from, And then once you listen to the other person, it's like, oh, I can see how what I did or what I say, like how it could be interpreted, in that way that you're saying. I wasn't trying to do that, but I can see how it could be interpreted like that. And it's interesting because English is not my first language.
Oh, okay.
And I speak Spanish. Spanish is my first language. And to me, it's very easy to understand how when I say something, it can be misinterpreted, right? Or not understood in the way that I want it. Not just
Right.
by my partner, but by anyone.
Yeah.
So I know that when I say something, I don't take it personal when someone doesn't understand what I'm saying, and I try to explain it in a different way. And sometimes, like I remember one time that we were in the kitchen, and I was saying something. I was saying something to Aaron, and he was busy. He was, I don't know, cutting something in the kitchen. I was talking, and he was like in his little world, so he wasn't hearing what I was saying. And I said, oh, and I repeated myself, and then he didn't hear again. And then I said, oh, forget it, you weren't listening. And he stopped what he was doing. He's like, no, like, tell me again. It's like I wasn't. It's not that I wasn't listening. I was doing something else or whatever. And then I was like, it's not that I took it. I wasn't upset. I was like, oh no, it's not important. And it was like the word that I use meant something more important to him than what I was trying to say, you know? And so it's just that we just have to pay attention, right? And try to communicate and try to be respectful and try to be also present. I think that's also important. I think now that there are a lot of things that pull our attention. And when we are with someone, to be present with them is very important.
Yeah.
And just to make our connection stronger, I think that's something that's missing too.
I want to dive more into that. And I also want to reflect on what you said about, the respect and paying attention and being present and kind of getting distracted from time to time and understanding, like, not taking something somebody says personal or not having to, take that on yourself. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make me feel inferior without my consent. And I remember Don Miguel Jr. talking about that. And I really take that into those situations where maybe I start to feel a little triggered or, feel a little like, wait, is somebody not listening or hearing what I said? Because you said that this thing about being right, people have this thing about if you can let that go, like let that need to be right or that need to be understood, you could just, first seek to understand from someone and allow them to say what it is that they, want to say. For you, it wasn't a huge deal with the kitchen situation. And then Aaron's like, no, wait, like, I want to hear what you just said. Wait, just kind of, and respect is so big. Like, I think I see you guys, I've seen you in person, I see you online, and you guys seem to share that value very, like it's very sacred, like a big value for both of you. And you both are very easygoing and both laid back, and you can feel that, energetically when you're with you and around you. And so I think that also comes into play. I wanted to highlight too, you were saying like, maybe needing more of that, or like people being distracted kind of from things, kind of maybe going more into that, what you mean by that. Like we need more kind of being in presence with one another.
Yeah, I think, I was thinking with our phones. We are, for example, we're with our friends. We are having lunch with someone. We're having dinner with someone. And our phones are always there. Or we're checking our phones. And I think that presence is missing, having conversations and just being there with someone. Like fully being present and paying attention to someone. And we go back to listening without trying to be thinking about what we're going to respond or what we're going to be doing after we leave this conversation or the place and all the things that we need to do after. And I know that we have busy lives and we have like all these things that we need to do, right? But it's like, where are we right now? And the whole point about this life is like to be in this moment. And yes, we have to plan. No, we cannot just be like just going second to second. We do have to plan our lives, but while we are in this moment, we have to experience it. And we have to be with the people that we are in this moment. Otherwise, we are wasting this moment that we have right here because we're thinking ahead. And we are not enjoying the presence of ourselves and the other.
Yeah, I love that you said that too about being, like we're human beings, not human doings, but we
Right.
have a tendency to be doing on our phones, right? Or we'll be in conversation with people or be out to eat or different things, and we're not fully there because the phone's
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and being able to be in presence with one another. I've heard you guys talk about it as golden time. I love that expression,
Yeah.
because it really is. It's sacred golden time. And how do you think people can stay more present? Would it be like putting the phone away when you're eating, or would it be, what kind of ideas do you have to kind of staying in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on each situation, no? But yeah, if you're with someone, yeah, it's just being with that person, looking at someone in the eyes, listening to what they're saying, actually engaging in the conversation. If you are working, like work. No, if you're reading, read. If, it's like doing instead of multitasking. It's like, and again, there's time for everything, right? It's not like you have to do it one way. It's like it depends on what you want to do, no? And I'm not saying that there's just one way to do things, but it's more about being aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I think it all comes down to that is we are just sort of passing by without realizing what we're doing. And then the night comes, we're laying in bed and we don't even know what we did during the day. And the day just goes by, and then night comes and we're sleeping. And then the next day comes by again, and we're just in this loop.
Right. Yeah. And so breaking out of that loop by being able to fully, and you said, and it depends, right? Like what kind of experience you're having or what situation you're in, but really being fully present and aware. I think awareness is the biggest thing. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned through these teachings is the more I'm aware of something, then the more I have ability to choose. So I have this choice point of, am I going to say yes to this, or am I going to say no to this? Am I going to take this personal, or am I going to kind of check it out or investigate it, instead of making an assumption, become that curious archaeologist, and just really tap into some of that with people. I think, because you're right, we kind of get in this cog wheel of just like doing. We get to the end of the day, we lay in bed and we're like, what just happened? And then we do it again. We do it all over again. So I think the more awareness we can have around what we're doing, what we're choosing, I think the more ability we have to really choose what it is we want to do, and not like what we have to do, maybe what we get to do, and kind of like it flips a switch almost.
Yeah, and then like you say, we choose the things that we love doing instead of ending up doing the things that we're like, why am I doing this? How did I end up in this situation?
Right.
With people that I don't enjoy. I don't know, So that's the power of being aware of our choices. It's like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to, or it's we end up doing the things that we choose to do.
Yes.
Or that move us further to the life that we want to.
Yes. And I love, because now I feel like I'm living the life that I want to, and I get to do these things, I mean, there's some things that are tedious, right, for work things, but you get to do that, and you get to evolve and see how you can create as you go. And I love when, like Jose will say, like, follow your inspiration, follow your joy. And my little calendar that I have in my bathroom said that today, like, follow your joy. And I was like, yes, I'm going to keep doing that, right? And, so continuing to navigate that, continuing to be aware of our choices and just really be with the people that we're with and really be with people we want to be with too. I think that's really important.
Yeah. I mean, we can choose. It's like our body, our energy, right? Our thoughts. If we can choose anything, is like our thoughts, right? What we do with our mind, our awareness, the choices that we make, and it's a process, right? There's no race, there is no prize at the end. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's life. There's going to be setbacks. It's not linear. There's going to be heartbreaks and there's going to be pain as well. And we also have to be flexible. Otherwise, again, we're going to go into straight into a wall if we just are going to be thinking that it's all going to be joy and happiness and all upwards, because it's cycles and it's nature, and we are human beings and we are emotional beings and we have feelings, and we're part of nature. So there's no denying that as well.
That's very true. So I think it's like, and I think the more too, Karla, that I've embraced my shadow, like the parts of me that I'm not super fond of or like excited about, the more I've accepted those, the more I've been able to become more allies with my fears, my shadows. Doesn't mean that, like you said, life's not linear. It's definitely a flux. It kind of goes up and down. There's different, I think I choose to react to things differently now than I used to. I used to be real reactive, and now I'm still able to feel my emotions, but also be able to be less reactive and more proactive with them. I think that has taught me a lot too in these teachings and the learnings. And I love that you guys have held a container and held space for me so many times where I just cry and I would just be like, whew. And I think the more that we can do that and just express and allow our bodies to have those experiences, kind of the lighter we'll feel. So I wanted to thank you again for doing that, because you guys do a great job at that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes we hold back so much. We think that we feel like we're the only ones that are going through something, or the only ones that have this experience, when there's so many of us going through the same things. And we feel so isolated. And when we don't talk about it, when we don't share our experiences, we feel more alone and more isolated. And I think that's why the spaces are so important, because then we realize, oh, I'm not the only one. And even if someone doesn't have the exact same experience, we can all relate, and we've all been through something similar, or we can say, oh, I can totally understand. I can relate. I know how that feels like. And that's why it's so important to share it. And I think a lot of times, and I think especially now, that's also why so many stories are coming out now, that we are like, what is going on? Why so many things now are happening? And it's because of that. It's because stories are being shared now that people have been suppressed, right? And it might feel like a lot, but at the same time, it's important to share all these types of stories, and because it's uncomfortable and it might feel scary, but if we don't share them, then they keep buried, no? And we have to bring them into the light in order for everyone to know that it's not an isolated experience.
Yeah, I love that you said bring it into the light, right? Because it's like an opportunity for us to really see that it's a shared experience, that we're not alone, that oftentimes when we share something going on with us, somebody can relate to very similar things or have related to that, before. And so it's this container, and I love storytelling so much. And you guys are great storytellers and you guys share so much with us. And I love hearing your stories and then having you hear our stories, and just that ability to connect and share on this vulnerable, deep level has been life-changing for me. So it's great work. It's great work.
Oh,
Makes me tear up.
big hugs, big hugs.
Thank you. You said something profound too. You said it's not a race, like, right? This life, it's not like nobody's trying to get to the finish line, or there's no right or wrong way to kind of do it. So I'm curious to get your thoughts about death and kind of what do you think happens after the body's like released?
I mean, that's the big question, right? No one knows.
I know. I have big questions.
I mean, I think once the energy that, I mean, I do believe like we're energy, right? The energy that runs through this container is released. It just goes back to the other energy that's around us. I think it goes back into the universe, the cosmos. It gets absorbed into the light, into everything that's around us. I think it just merges with everything that's everywhere. I think it goes back into everything that's around.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. Because it's energy, it cannot be destroyed. You know, it doesn't disappear. I don't think it disappears. I think it goes, it merges into everything that's around.
Yeah.
And it feeds. It's like the ocean. It's like water that evaporates and just goes into the atmosphere. I feel it's sort of the same process, but with our energy.
I love that. Yeah, I too have a similar philosophy. Like, I believe we are energy, can't be destroyed, just transformed. And so the life force that's animating our body now will like go back to the universe, go back to the collective consciousness, this cosmos. And I think it's such a beautiful thing because it's like such a mystery, right? We're all like, we'll know when we get there. And I love talking about it too, because I love getting people's kind of perspectives on this, and that we can transform into kind of everything. Like I believe in this like oneness concept, that we are a part of everything. And so you were talking about like nature, being able to go out in nature, you know, really I felt really connected with the rocks before. Like, I'll put them together if they're kind of out on the sidewalk by themselves. I'm like, no, you got to get with your allies, you know, like stuff like that. And I think about like, because I am connected to everything, like I am a part of everything. And I think when I think about it that way, it's a beautiful kind of way to see life, that we're not separate from each other. We have these separate bodies, these little, you know, earth suits, separate perceptions maybe of how we see things. But I do believe we're all connected in a sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's and I think that's why it feels so good to be out in nature, and it feels beautiful to see a sunset, you know, and you go to the ocean and you just feel something, either calmness or majestic, or you go to the mountains and you just feel it. And that's because there is this life force in everything. And the animals, you know, you see some animals and you're just like, wow. And I think it's the life force that it's inside everything.
Yes, I agree with that. What do you think kind of is your most valuable piece of wisdom that you've ever been given, or advice? It's a big question.
I know. I'm like, I mean, I've been giving a lot of good advice. I think, let's see, what would be the best advice? I would say to not be afraid and live the way I want to live.
Yes.
To translate it in a way to sort of to live in my truth. To not be afraid to show up in the way that I want to show up, to say the things that I want to say, even if it goes against the norm, or if it's different than the way that I've been educated or the way that I've been used to doing things.
Yeah.
That if now something feels different in me, that I should go for it.
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, I think following your truth. And that's what?
That's recent.
That's recent? You got that advice?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think that's really good wisdom and advice. Like, go for it. Do the things that really speak your truth, that you're passionate about, even if it goes against maybe some conditioning or domestication that we've had along the way. Maybe it's not quite what society, norms as doing, something traditional, and really following it. I think that I love that. I'm going to take that too and run with it, because I worked a traditional job for 18 years, had a paycheck, all those things. Now I have my own business. And so I think it's so important to really follow what lights you up, even if it's not traditional, even if it's, not what kind of we're conditioned to do. So, so when I asked you that too, one of the other questions I had was, is there anything on your bucket list that you still want to do, or that you definitely want to make sure that you can kind of go experience?
Let's see. I've had so many fun experiences and so many things that I've done that I still want to travel to countries that I haven't visited, but I know that eventually, we'll get there. But something that, let's see, personally, it's not just for me, but I think it's more for the family. Like, I would like us to do an event, like a type of festival thing, like an event that we have, that it's not just us, but that there's more like music and like a whole day thing. So it's not just lectures, but like a festival, like more dynamic, more different things going on. Like, I would like something like that. That would be something fun to sort of work towards too. So I guess that would be on the bucket list to do, to organize, and to, maybe not personally, but
Yeah.
but
But you not organize it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not organizing that, but
Yeah. Gotcha.
but to do that would be fun, like a festival type of thing, where we're speaking and there's music and there's, I don't know, food and some like a fun whole day thing, or a couple of days, I don't know, something like that. That would be fun to
Yeah, that
experience.
sounds
Like a Toltec festival, something like that. I don't know.
Toltec Festival 2027. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I think that sounds super fun. For over probably 15 years, my family and I went to a folks festival. So it was all folky music and then storytellers. And they would get up there and they'd tell their stories and then they play music. And it was just so much fun. And it was 3 days. We always said 3 days of folky fun. So 3 days of Toltec fun.
Right.
Go and do that. And you don't have to organize it.
Right.
Somebody else do it. Yeah. Cool. I love that. And then also being able to travel, to different countries and kind of places you haven't experienced yet, and going with your family and just doing that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I I love that. If people want to get a hold of you, or if they want to, do coaching with you, kind of what is the best way that they could do that?
They can go to miguelruiz.com. All of my information is there. They can send an email and they can get a hold of me there. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. And do you have any workshops or events coming up here soon?
Yes. Actually, it's not yet on the website, but when is this interview going to get?
When's it going to air?
Yeah.
What is today? The 22nd. Today's Earth Day. Happy Earth Day, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Mother Earth. I think I could get it out probably next week, actually.
Oh, okay.
Like
It's
the end of April. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a few we have a Teotihuacan retreat coming up in May, but we're actually working on a Teotihuacan trip, Aaron and myself, and that's going to be in October. So that's going to be for the fall. We're super excited about that one. This is going to be our first one together.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, yeah, we're super excited about that one. So it's not on the website yet, but I think in 1 month, in about a few weeks, we're going to put it up.
Okay.
And then also in the fall, I'm going to be doing an online program with my sister about the Mesoamerican goddesses. And we're going to utilize the archetypes of the goddesses so how we can utilize them with the 4 agreements, right? So how we can utilize them to make our lives better and more joyful. So we're going to use like Huatlique, and we're going to use like all of them. Well, yeah, it's going to be 3 sessions. I'm super excited. My sister, she has a PhD. She's super knowledgeable. And so we've been working on this for a few years now. Then we finally have it down. She was working on her thesis, so now she's done with it. And we have the date. So that's going to be in November. So yeah, that's going to be online. So yeah, I'm excited about that one too. So I think those are the main things that I'm going to be doing. Yeah.
That is super cool. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to look into all this stuff. This is great.
Yeah.
This is super exciting.
Yeah. That one's going to be amazing.
Yeah. That's super cool. And you guys have been working together on it for a few years, and that's gonna be awesome. And then the blending with the 4 agreements, I mean, it's like a chef's kiss. It's amazing. I love that.
It's going to be really, really good. I'm excited about that one.
Cool. Okay, great. Awesome. I could talk to you all day. I feel like it's been so amazing to have you on here. And is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you'd like to any like closing words that you want to give to our listeners today?
I think we covered a lot. Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome. I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see you again on maybe in Teotihuacan or on the live calls. And I think that's it. Thank you so much.
That sounds great. Big hugs, lots of love. Thank you so much for being on. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Rivers all